Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to Belgium for the first time in quite a wee while actually. I really do need to review more Belgian beers for you on the channel, and I can promise that you will start to see that over the next little while. But for this one we are going to go to Brussels and visit Brasserie de la Senne, also known as Brouwerij de Senne in Flemish of course, but we'll stick with the former since that's the name that's on the bottle, and we're going to have a taste of their winter mess tonight, which is an 8.5% Belgian strong ale. Their winter seasonal beer, of course. It's quite highly rated on Rate Beer, 88 overall and 80 within the style, so it should be really quite nice, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one. And like I said, I really do want to review some more Belgian beers for you over the next little while, so stay tuned on the channel for that, and I hope you guys enjoy the Belgian reviews that do come out. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Brasserie de la Senne. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Belgian beers that are reviewed, and like I said, I'll add to that in the near future. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review, especially if you're watching in Belgium, because I do need to learn more about Belgian beer, of course, but the support and the input that you give to the channel is always hugely appreciated, and it's great to hear from you guys, so don't hesitate to get in touch through any of the social media things that are down below. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about Brasserie de la Senne then. So Brasserie de la Senne, like I said, are based in Brussels, and they were founded back in 2010 by Bernard Lebuc and Yvan de Baets. So Bernard had actually previously established the St. Peter's brewery in the former Mirial-Lambic brewery back in 2003, and he also later went on to found the Senne beer brand of beer as well. And Yvan had actually been working at Brouwerij de Renk, so both of these guys, before they started this brewery, had quite an illustrious background, I guess you would say, in beer. They did have a very strong background before they founded their own company, but they decided to start a brewery together in 2006, and initially they brewed their beers at Brouwerij de Renk and also at the Proefbrouwerij in Locriste Heefte, which is a really quite popular destination, of course, for many of the gypsy breweries in Scandinavia, and I think some from around the rest of Europe as well. But they later found a new premises in Sint-Jans-Molenbeek, which is one of the districts, of course, of Brussels, and this had previously been an industrial bakery, and this was where they produced their first beers at the end of 2010, and they've been based there ever since. If you go on the brewery website, you'll see a nice picture of the brewery, and since then they've really been expanding. They've got more employees now, they've been expanding their capacity, and they're actually named after the river that runs through the city of Brussels. It's the Senne, of course, in Dutch, and the Senne in French, or Flemish I should say. So of course, as you might know, Belgium is a kind of dual lingual country. You've got the Flemish people who speak a sort of a version of Dutch, and of course you have the French Belgians who speak French, of course, and you've got some Germans actually in the very southeast of the country as well. I think it's like 30 or 40,000 German speakers there are in the very corner of the country actually. But yeah, a really nice country for beer, somewhere I do need to go and check out now that of course I am of legal drinking age, so I will go back to Belgium at some point and try some of the lovely Belgian beers that you can get down there. But just to list a few of the other beers you can get from these guys, in their main range they've got the Bruxellier, they've got the Jam de Bois, the Stouteriek, the Senne beer, and also the Taras Bulba as well. And they've got a few different seasonal beers, they've got collaboration beers as well as a series of experimental brews as well. So these guys are always producing different things, and like I said, they are one of the breweries that are becoming more easily available, or more readily available I should say, up here in Scandinavia. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open up. There you can see it's quite nicely presented actually. I do like that almost kind of cartoon style of artwork that they've put on that one. That's really nice actually. There you can see the bottle cap that's on this one. I do like that actually. It's got the kind of Brussels outline there with the sun in the background. It's actually almost a little bit Japanese. It actually does look a little bit like a Japanese thing with the rising sun, of course, but nicely presented beer. As I said, it's an 8.5% Belgian strong ale, so without further ado then, let's get this guy open and we'll get on with the tasting. So yeah, nice kind of smoky opening on this one. You can smell some of the fruity character in this beer as you open it up. It really does. It smells kind of like, it really reminds me of some of these old sweets we used to have back at home. It smells like a kind of sweet mix-up. It's a real candied, fruity ester that's coming out of this one. We'll leave a little bit in the bottle just now, just so we can have a proper look at the aroma then. But as you can see, this beer's poured a really nice kind of, it's actually a very dark reddish amber colour. It looks a bit darker on the camera than it actually is. You guys are seeing this as more of a mahogany colour, but I would say or maybe more of a rosewood colour actually. You guys are seeing it as, I'm seeing it as a kind of reddish mahogany or a very dark red amber. It's a bit more orange as you get down towards the bottom of the glass. There's quite a little bit of kind of sediment particle visible in this one, which always tends to happen with Belgian beers. Of course, there's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head, which incidentally is a one finger head. And I'd say it's a kind of beigey cream colour, this one. It does look really nice, and as I'm just kind of floating above the top of the beer, you really get that nice candied red fruity character out of this beer. But let's take a closer look at the aroma of this one then. Yeah, it really, without sugaring the beer up, it really is these candied red fruit characters that come out. It does smell very figgy, and it reminds me of these little heart-shaped sweets in the Haribo Star Mix. I always say that, it reminds me of these little gummy bears, or Guldbeeren as they would call them in Germany. I think even we get the ones up here that are called Guldbeeren. But it really does, the smell of this one really reminds me of that. It's a very candied fruit ester. But yeah, once you start to sugar the beer up a little bit more, you get more of the kind of big, bready, yeasty character that you expect of it. It's got a lovely kind of toasty brown sugar element to it. It does smell more like a kind of brown bready character that's coming out of this one. But there's a lovely big Belgian yeast note coming out of this beer. It is lovely, this one. Yeah. Just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one before you get stuck into it. There's an almost woody and kind of nutty character that starts to come out of the beer once your nose adjusts to it properly. There's a wee bit of spicy character in there as well, but it's really quite nice. Yeah. Toasted caramel, sort of brown bready notes, some yeasty character, a little bit of spice, woody and nutty elements, and then no real things I can get from the hops, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, a lovely kind of red candied fruit ester coming out of this one. The fruits for me are what makes this beer kind of quirky. It does sound a little bit different, or it does smell a little bit different, I should say, from the other sort of Belgian beers I've had before. So just pay attention to that. It's always good to enjoy the aroma of the beer before you actually get stuck into it. But we're going to try this one now. So this one's the Winter Mess from Brasserie de la Senne down in Brussels in Belgium. Slanje, skål. It's pretty nice actually. It's got quite a light mouthfeel in comparison to what I was expecting, and as you would expect from this beer, it really does have quite a little bit of that kind of almost spicy winter warmer character to it. It really comes across quite nicely. That really is quite nice. It's not quite as sweet as I was expecting. It definitely leans more towards the kind of spicy, sort of grainy side of things than it does towards the sweetness, and it's actually got a little bit of a warming quality to it as well. But I mean, I've always found that with Belgian beers, they do tend to be a little bit, they do tend to give you a bit more alcohol warmth than beers from other countries do. I'm not sure exactly why that is. Maybe it's just the type of yeast and things that they use and the sort of the chemicals that gives off, of course. But really nicely done beer, this one. That is pretty good. Yeah, let's just examine the flavour of this a little bit more. So with this one, there's a bit of sweetness to the malt base like I was saying, but really the flavours that are lingering there, there's this kind of spicy character to it as well. Like I said, it's got that nice winter warmer feel. Maybe that's kind of contributing to the alcohol warmth a bit that I seem to be getting from this one. So there's a sort of kind of brown bready malt base to this one. There's a bit of kind of caramel sweetness in there. It's a little bit toasted, of course, and it's quite a, yeah, it's got that lovely kind of typical, that kind of big sort of thickness that you get from the Belgian yeast as well. It really is quite nice, but the spicy character is just sitting right in the middle of the tongue, and you can feel the little kind of bitter, dry aspects of it as well. That really is quite nice. It's just different from anything that I've had before from Belgium actually. So it's always cool to see that even in really established beer countries like Belgium, of course, they are starting to experiment with things, or there's always different things to try, of course. It really is cool. Even, you know, when you've done 950 or 970 reviews and things like that, it's kind of, it really is quite cool just to try something that's a little bit quirky and different. The hoppy side of this beer is actually, there's not really much coming out of this one, to be honest. It's got a little bit of, there's a tiny bit of earthy character in the back sides of the palate. As you come further forward, it feels a little bit herbal, and that kind of herbal character just spreads all the way around and round the front curve of the palate. If you just go behind the front curve of the tongue, you start to get a little bit of that kind of red fruity ester coming out. That little oily bubble is where these fruity esters always come out, of course. Yeah, it's nice. It definitely leans to that kind of red candied fruit ester that I was talking about earlier, although there is a little bit of sharpness to it, maybe kind of sultanas or something like that. It's not quite raisins, it's not simply raisins. I think it is more of a kind of sultana flavour that's coming off of this one, and the spicy character, like I was saying, it really just lingers in this beer. I'm not getting much of the kind of woody and nutty character that I was picking up in the aroma of this one. It really is more sort of spicy, bready, kind of toasty caramel thing there, and that spicy character really starts to dominate the palate as you move into the aftertaste. It does have a little bit of dryness actually. But this is quite a nice beer. If you get the chance to try this, I highly recommend that you do, because it is something that's a little bit different from the other Belgian beers I've had before, and it's a style, I think, that it's maybe taken a little bit of an influence from other countries in terms of winter warmers and things like that. I didn't even know that they really did these kind of things in Belgium. I thought the Belgian kind of winter beers that I've had before are a little bit different from this one. The spicy character is just a little bit smoother, whereas this one's a little bit more kind of prickly and kind of grainy and dry, if you like. So it's quite interesting in that regard. In terms of the mouthfeel of this beer, it comes across to me as mid-bodied. It's got that typical kind of smooth Belgian mouthfeel. There's a little bit of oily character to it. The carbonation is moderate in this one. There's a bit of sweetness to the malt base, but like I said, it's the spicy character that starts to dominate, and that gives it a little bit of bitterness as you progress later into the beer. The hoppy side of things is very smooth, and there's a little bit of juicy fruity character in there as well, but overall it's a really quite nice beer. And I do hope to try some of the other beers from this brewery and see how they turn out. Maybe a Blondale or a Dubel or Tripel or something like that. We'll see how we get on with it, but hopefully I can find some more of their beers soon. But this one was certainly very nice. So if you get the chance to try the Winter Mess from Brasserie de la Senne in Brussels, do give it a go. And I think this brewery is starting to become more readily available across Europe, so I'm sure I'll review more of these for you in the near future. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. I hope you've enjoyed my return to Belgium, and I will do more Belgian beers for you over the next little while. Until the next time though, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. Let me know what other beers I should be trying from this brewery, and do let me know some other Belgian breweries that I might not have heard of before. I know there's loads of them. And of course, up in countries outside of Belgium, you do only tend to get the ones that are exported. Of course, it's a bit more difficult to get some of the smaller breweries from Belgium, but it's always cool to learn about new breweries and new beers and things like that, so don't hesitate to get in touch. But this was the Winter Mess from Brasserie de la Senne in Brussels in Belgium. Until the next time, it's Slant just now, and I will catch you soon. If you like your kind of spicy sort of beers, then this is one that you definitely want to have a go at. A really nice winter warmer, this one. Slant just now.